Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. All right. So these freaking hurricanes, and I hate dwelling on tragedy, and that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is, thank goodness we have modern technology that we can actually get ahead of these things to some degree, sometimes. And there's companies out there like METEOBLUE that provide web pages like this that model weather all over the world. They are the company that are the third-party providers of the live weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it allows us to visualize what's going on out there in the real world. Let me show you how it looks in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I've been watching the news like everybody else, and, you know, fingers are crossed. They at least have, a heads up of what's coming, and everybody's getting in place and getting prepared, and people are getting the heck out. And I've just finished seeing one of the most frightening news displays where they're using computer visualization to really reinforce how bad it is. So they said this could have a 15-foot surge. So the guy standing there on the news stage has a computer visualizing the water with CGI and showing what 15 feet of water looks like. No bueno, senor. No bueno. So, the magnitude of what these companies are providing to Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's pretty incredible. And that's why there are the number of fanboys that you have out there talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator and what a paradigm shift it was. They've leveraged so much data and these third-party companies to provide all this information, all this data, to simulate the world, the Earth. And it even allows us to track the weather and watch the weather and things like this. So, pretty incredible. There are some other filters you can get, kind of like over here on the METEOBLUE site. So, they've got their visualizations going on. So back in the simulator, you can kind of get a few of them if you come down here to more. And you open your filters. Okay. So there's things we can see like the weather layer. So we're seeing the clouds right now. Turn on the wind effect. That's kind of more like what METEOBLUE's got going on at the moment. Okay, you can also do blue. The precipitation. Keep closing that. So there's precipitation with clouds, or the wind effect with the clouds. The wind effect on the ground and the high. Hopefully we're not gacking. Let me check my stats here. Everything was, in the last test was running fine. But, Murphy's Law, so I better open up the stats. So we have some render lag going on. So I apologize for any hiccups. Just the nature of the beast sometimes. There is an airplane right now. Loud Dominican X is flying through it, and we're going to go inside the simulator in a minute and see what it looks like. Definitely shouldn't be in this little helicopter. So quite a few people. All these little green dots, these are all people or airplanes. Let me see if the live traffic is on. Okay, so multiplayer is on, so that, and live real world air traffic. Let's go ahead and turn that on. So all we can do is, sit here and feel helpless as this thing approaches, and do a little praying, for the butterfly effect. A butterfly effect. The idea that a butterfly flapping its wings somewhere can not only create a hurricane, but the idea that it can turn it away. Right? So, as preposterous as it seems, you want to tell everybody, okay, when you're running around outside, get a little fan and fan it away, right? Because they talk about the butterfly wings doing it. So, I know it sounds absurd. All right, let's go ahead and let's get an airliner. Something with a little more structure. I saw another one, a weather pattern up here when I was coming in today. And there's a weather pattern up here, right here. And I wouldn't have noticed it over or around Spokane, Washington, near Walla Walla, Washington. But when I came out and I first had this thing on and I had it up like this, all of a sudden this area of white, like lightning, like it was representing lightning, all of a sudden this area started strobing. It had this white dot over the area and it just kept strobing and strobing and strobing. And as I finally paid attention to it and started zooming in, I had a couple of windows open. I thought Maybe it was just a window glitch or whatever. But I came into the simulator, and as I was zooming in, yeah, it was this glowing area that just was glowing really bright white and strobing. And then it just vanished. So, no idea what that was all about, but it did draw my attention to that little weather pattern going on. Look at this one. Somebody else is dealing with some crap weather, but that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Yikes. That hurricane and tell it to F off and go out to the middle of the ocean to turn around, take a hard curve, and kill itself. Hurricane side. Go hurricane side yourself. Tell it where to get off. Being in an airliner, we were experiencing some turbulence. I turned the turbulence up, and it was bouncing around. I did see one video on Twitter, a clip yesterday, of a NOAA plane going through it. They didn't show outside; they just showed the inside, and these people were bouncing everywhere, crap flying everywhere. Should do something terribly foolish. But it's a simulator and we can do stupid things. So the big wind is right here, actually. Let's try to get straight and level the best we can. This is a touchy thing. I'm trying to keep my hands mostly off the joystick, but some of those sudden movements like that's me. This is me. But I'm trying to get the nose up and get us kind of leveled off and And then we can kind of see what the wind is doing. That was me. So trying to trim up, the nose up. Get enough power in to just stay there. Hand isn't on the joystick now, so that big push right there, that's the wind. And it's pushing me down. You shall not fly. Alright. So, get back up. The names on the screen. So on the news earlier, they said there could be up to 120, 140 mile an hour gusts. And based on their chart, you know, it's kind of maxing at 90. But this little plane trying to exert itself through it is doing fine at the moment. It does have a beefy engine. But you'd think, though, that this plane would be flipping around. Somebody's in a Tomcat and more just brute power to defy the winds. Wanted to go mess with this area of cloud right here. Gray area. This is where I wish I was like Hans or Henning. Two of the gentlemen that come into the live stream, the glider pilots from Germany. Because they actually spend time out there in the real world getting to know what thermals feel like and understanding it and being effective at leveraging thermals to increase their climb, velocity, whatever. They they're crazy. They're amazing. So I would like to see them do a report from inside something like this. If any of you are glider pilots out there, because I mean, I could get into a glider and I could fly around on this, but I couldn't tell you, oh, check this out, this area, you know, and point it all out. I don't have the experience. But I will be scouring out there later, looking for anybody who's doing gliding stuff in one of these. Right at the moment, it's not so bad. And I guess I'm trying to find the hell in it. All right, let's try to put it into a cruise. Trying to keep that nose up. Just popped into my head. It has no bearing on anything we're doing. No relevance. But I was watching one of these hot wings shows. What is the show called? Like Hot Takes? I'm not sure. I don't watch that many of them. I've seen a few. But where those people go on the interview show and they eat hot wings, and they the sauces that they use get progressively hotter and hotter. I was thinking to myself when I was watching, somebody's suffering horribly. Horribly. Ah, come on. Can't be that bad, right? So, my ma just got back from Pueblo the other day, and they always do their chili festival each year. And she buys just scads, tons, and then roasts them and hands them out. And so, I got a fresh one, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Pueblo chilies, these can't be that bad. And ultimately, it wasn't. I didn't suffer long. Oh, but it was brutal. And I guess I was making a bit of a fuss about it, like, woo. But the wife pointed out, yeah, and that was a nothing on the Scoville scale. You're reaching for the milk, you're already suffering, and that's a nothing. So some of these hot sauces, you know. So the deepest respect for the people that have put themselves through the torture, cruel and unusual torture of the hottest hot sauces on the Scoville scale. Alright, so basically, she's mostly in straight and level flight, and I haven't really been touching the joystick too much. We're just climbing a tiny bit and setting a little bit, but for the most part is level, and I'm just going to keep my hands off for the moment. And we're just going to watch her bounce around. Let me take a moment to go into the options. I made sure that turbulence was on and set to realistic, but I want to make sure that we're using, and this was set to legacy for the helicopter for the flight model. And I think I've worked all that all out, and we can come back to modern. So hopefully we're going to get a better experience now. But let's see if there's anything else. No, I can't think of really anything else now that would. I wonder if I can force it to. You know what we should do too? Is take a moment to come in here and... Actually, that's not going to matter. I was going to say download the map, but it's not. That's not what we're counting on. What we're counting on is being fed the fastest data, so maps don't matter a bit. But I wonder if clearing the cache will force it to deliver current. I don't know. I normally like having things set to real because I don't, you know, I want to learn. Aircraft systems. Oh. Helicopters really messed with me. I'm wondering later when I try it, can I turn these off now? I think I'm getting the hang of them. Oh, this is a good one. The aerodynamic visualizations. I forgot all about them. This should be a trip. Uh-huh. I don't see the air visualization yet. Well, I know we turned them on, but I don't see them. Unless there's a way to turn them on now that I don't understand. I turned them on once and for gliding. Still haven't touched the joystick. Hey, Rent-A-Cow is in the chat room. Forgive me, sir, I've been mucking about. I wonder if Asobo is watching the situation and helping the in-game weather for the storm. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Fun to speculate about for sure. Because the game has never been very good at extreme weather in the past. I thought they've done pretty good. I remember doing another another hurricane a couple of years back, or when Trump was in office. And I remember getting knocked out of the sky, or I screwed up at whatever, but it seemed pretty good. You're right, though. It does just look really cloudy and windy. When you look at things like the METEOBLUE website and you see the way that they've got the wind whipping around. So this is the same company here, this map. They're the ones that are providing us our live weather. And look at their map. So that is kind of what I was wanting to see. And I wanted to try to turn on those air visualizations to at least see if the visualizations are how well they're working in here, but I've done something wrong, or I don't have it turned on somewhere. On. Yeah. Let me look in the chat again real quick. I'll get through everything you said. And then I'll get back to... I'm trying to find the visualization stuff, and I thought I turned it on. Here's something cool, Rent-A-Cow saying. The Military Aviation Museum in Virginia Beach is flying their DC-3 into Tennessee tomorrow morning to deliver release supplies. You know, truly, I am so filled with joy at all the people that are real pilots that are able to do stuff like that. That Foo Fighter song, There Goes My Hero, is always playing. I feel so proud. And I don't, I'm not one. I can't do it for real. I'm a simulator pilot. That's it. But at the same time, still feeling proud. Being a part of a piloting community. But yeah, they're the greatest. They're the greatest. They're the greatest. Truly heroes. They have pictures on their Facebook. Yeah, Rent-A-Cow, and you were saying how that's your favorite plane, the DC-3. Menu animations are on. Okay, back to the flight model. Oh, maybe I'm in the wrong one. Because these are all globals, gyros. These should all be real. Huh. That's interesting. I guess I really never looked at this, but when you get legacy mode, you get to turn these on or off or raise the value of these. But in modern, what happens when you raise them all to max and then go back to modern? Because they're grayed out when you come into modern, meaning that other way, under accessibility or whatever, your realisms are better, or they're already added in, something like that. Turbulence, realistic. Aerodynamic visualization. This is what I was hoping to find. And it's on, but it doesn't say, well, once you're in the game, is there a switch that you're supposed to turn on? So it's on. Well, that would help if live weather was on. All right, so I'm the biggest dummy of them all. Folks, I've been showing you the wrong thing this entire time. I was certain live weather was on. I was certain these were set to on. Just like the other day when I was hanging out with Rent-A-Cow. They weren't correct. Man, I almost want to restart the live stream now, because everything up to this point is crap. We weren't flying through what it was like. Man. Okay, here we go, though. Show 3D thermals. Here we go. All right. Should get interesting now. Yeah, are we being thrown straight up, or the drone camera getting knocked around? I can't even. This is when you need to trust your instruments. All right, folks, I'm so sorry. I feel bad for the people that tuned in earlier. They were thinking the same thing. "90 years later and still doing what it was originally built for." Nice. All right, so can't tell where the ground is, but we can see our instrument. We're we're definitely getting bounced around now. So I deeply apologize for being a chowderhead and not having it set right. I'm gonna try to climb us, but we'll see what happens. This is much better. Much better. Let me switch back. Okay, good. My hand's not on the joystick. It is now. Just level us out. So much better. So glad You're such good luck, Rent-A-Cow. This is what it should be. Holy moly. Look at that, the rainbows. Look over here to the right side of the screen, a double rainbow. That view. Rent-A-Cow says, white caps the size of cruise ships down there. Hey, are you in the simulator now? Are you flying in this? My daughter was talking to me about live streaming recently. And she says, do you do raids? And I'm like, no. Because why not? I'm like, I don't have any enemies. And she started laughing at me. What? Well, what do you think? Well, raiding doesn't sound like... Sounds like something Vikings do. So no, I don't do anything like that. It's like, no, and you're at the end of your live stream, when you're shutting down your live stream, do you take your viewers over to somebody else's site? Like, no, I've never done that. She's like, that's raiding. I'm like, well, then it sounds hostile. She's like, no, it's actually not. It's a nice thing to do. So if you've got another friend who's live streaming and you're getting ready to shut down your live stream, why don't you take whoever's watching and go over to their site and check out what they're doing and see if you can hook them up with a bunch of viewers. I don't have a bunch of viewers at all, but if you are live streaming, and I know you do, so my daughter says I should raid you. Well, the suggestion anyway, that I should do stuff like that. Sounds pretty cool. Let's turn back into that rain. It's my coffee. I also now want to hop back into the airliner at some point and now get a view from 10, 12 up to 30,000. Let's see what it looks like now. Somebody in a Mustang. Oh no, they're in F-18. Oh, it's not the drone camera, it's the plane that's getting whipped. Bird. we go. So yeah, you or anybody else, if you're watching this and you're going to be live streaming more of this, then let me know in the chat room, and I want to raid you. Again, the daughter says that's a good thing. Okay. Let's go back to the main menu. Five. So it puts us at 5. I thought in Navlog we could change this. I don't think we can. That doesn't matter. Start at 5. Okay, this is what I should have shown you right away, but I was dumb. Hey, I didn't see you got another person in the chat room. Skystream Aviation. Hello, Skystream Aviation. And I was at the eye wall. Sir, that's I don't know. Closer to it now. I'm trying to put us in that band where it says the winds are the heaviest. Miami Center, Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is let me go over to the chat room where it says Skystream Aviation and click on go to channel and subscribe. NEOFLY and RFS streams. Excellent. Thank you. I see your shorts, and let me turn that off. Sky Full of Stars by Colt. Yeah, I can't have music playing. I'd have to chop that little bit out there. YouTube, you know. It's just YouTube. Okay. Let me turn off the autopilot. Make sure we're in auto throttle. Still looks pretty tame. All right, let's go up. Really?
overspeed, 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 overspeed.
Okay. How about that chat? Looks like the weather got reset again. I'm not certain. It really made a big difference when I was in the smaller plane. All right, so let's get up a little bit higher. I still wanted to see this thing from in here, but up a bit. Where we at? 9. Ten. It gave up on trying to give us the visualizations. Definitely not doing it in an airliner. I see what you're saying, though. Check the weather in here. You are so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're a wizard. How intuitive. I take a minute for my brain to process what you're saying, but better late than never. Rent-A-Cow says press B and look at your barometer. I may not have it set. B. No, I've never used it. Or is that set to something else? Let's see here again. Huh. Do you mean to just pull the barometer and check what it's set at? Or saying it sets it? I'm seeing 2992. Just pull. Righto. Set it. Reset altimeter H. Set altimeter to MSL pressure. So is that what I'm looking for though there? Just set it. So set it to whatever it is and pay attention to it dropping. Okay, we'll do. So okay. 2870. One. Right, let's turn into that crap there. I see. So if you're plotting and taking readings as you're moving through it, plot. So we haven't changed here to 875. We're at a 10 mile on 40. Thought this thing had a weather radar. Been so long, I don't remember. Wait, 6-9. $2,992. Big jump. Okay. So that would tell us we're coming out of that pressure right there, right? So that was a wicked area. Wait, 6-8. $992. So we found a nice little pocket. All right, turning west again, reading 2992. 875. You know, I can't say I've really ever paid attention to my oat out here, and I'm looking for it. Like, where do you find your oat your outside air temperature. If you can find it in your MCDU. Well, static air pressure is outside air. I don't know if that's it. I don't know what these are. Data the position monitor. Oh, but I thought we were looking for static air pressure. Right? Right. don't quite understand yet. All right. All right, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out how we were getting to our air pressure. Or, sorry, the outside temperature. So, I don't understand what to do with that information as far as our position and how we can get our outside air temperature. It's weird when you see like these columns of where it's coming, where it's coming down over here to these columns. Oh, no shit. Pardon my language. Sorry. I am surprised. Okay, so that so what we were looking at is air temperature and not a position, right? $26 degrees. Yeah, those columns are crazy. The fingers of God. There's another one there. Crazy. Is that where the motherships are at? Over those columns, and they're the ones driving it all? We got the big mothership over here that we're heading into. Remember that movie Cocoon? Look at my GPS coordinates and see where you're at on the METEOBLUE map. Okay, well, how do you do that one? Asking me to do things I just don't know how to do. But I'm learning. I don't mind at all. That's what this is all about, learning. But I don't exactly know the steps involved to do what you're talking about. You see, that's why you should be doing this live stream. So I need to hand off to you so you can show us how to do all that. That's a whole video tutorial right in itself. How to pull up your coordinates in METEOBLUE. I'm right in this area. Right? 26, 26, 23, 1. It's up there. On 120 and 26. I'm going to turn off some things here that are eating up horsepower that we don't need to see at the moment. We don't need terrain level of detail at the moment. We don't need grass and bushes being at ultra. We don't need trees being at ultra. We need buildings. We don't need that. Clouds are on ultra. We don't need bloom. Another, FPS or two. Just a bit. That's right. We got it right. Then that's where we're at. So we need to turn. few hundred. All right. So I should have us turning this way. Rivers of water. So if we're right there, then just 180. Ah, whatever. We need to turn left. If I'm not mistaken, which I probably am, we should be near the eye right here. This should be in the vicinity. Hey, welcome, Burger LOL. You want to do some aerobatics in the Christian Eagle for a new video. Far out. Far out, far out. Oh, I have a cat that wants to go outside. 1 minute, I'll be right back. Go outside. All right. Well, if you haven't noticed, we're gonna take a call. I'll be right back. You are looking at the METEOBLUE website. These are the people that provide our live weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And we are inside Hurricane Milton today, doing our best to wish that it chokes itself and kills itself right out here, or it turns away. And that's my hopes. I'm sure that's everybody's hope, right? And because we can't be there or help out or do anything, it feels kind of helpless, and kind of the best we can do is float around the air in spirit for them and wish this thing goes away. And we're looking at what it looks like inside the simulator from the world menu and inside, as you just saw. A lot of people flying out here today. Lots and lots. Just a few earlier, but my goodness. Filling up. So you can see the similarities when hopping between, oops, let me pop out, go back to the main menu in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah. They're the folks that are providing all of this for us. That's mighty impressive. You crashed during your last maneuver. That's what I mean. That stuff's crazy. That's crazy. But, you know, you're going to be a better pilot for it. That's what I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, is he crazy? Or if it, you know, if he survives, if you survive, you're going to be a much better pilot in the long run. Because, you know, that knowledge is really kind of priceless, being able to understand your plane that well. What an awesome life you lead, Captain. Cheers. So if you're just tuning in, yeah, we are hoping and praying this hurricane kills itself, turns away from Florida. And other than that, we're checking out world-class live weather for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it'll only get better as time moves on. And I was saying earlier, that's why so many of us that understand the technological achievements that have come together to create Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, why we're such fanboys of it. Because people right off the bat, they're like, oh, live weather, but just to think about what that entails across the whole globe. That they were willing to go out and hook up with a company like this to deliver that for us. I mean, wow. Just the sheer amount of data that we're looking at. We live in an amazing, amazing time. I used to look at the screens and, well, all the science fiction movies, but mostly Star Trek growing up. I'm like, one of these days, yeah, one of these days it's going to be good like that. And I'm looking at this here and I'm like, this is better than any Star Trek screen that I ever saw growing up. It is 2024, but cares, man. I look at what we're looking at. That almost looks just as bad right there. Well, that's the beauty of the simulator for sure. Reading the chat room talking about doing maneuvers that you would never do in real life. And that is, yeah, absolutely the beauty of the simulator. Letting you learn what works and what doesn't and practicing. Your average Cessna 172. See what kind of nightmarish hell it would be for somebody caught in something like that. Oh, boxy Skyvan. Saying you reminds me, it's been on my mind since I saw you the other day, that Detroit game. You were laughing so damn hard with that Detroit game that I wanted to go try to search for that and find out what you were talking about. All right, so
Miami Center Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is type Cessna Skyhawk 85 miles southwest of
double check everything is fine and live.
request flight following.
Okay, live. Just for a minute, it looked pretty there for a second. Yeah, there. That's what we came in at. So I did spawn us, as you saw, as close as I could in the center, into the calm weather, where it gets ugly.
Squawk
Oops, you did it again? We've entered the slipstream, Jean-Luc. Turning the autopilot off. Just see what it does. Well, it's definitely slowing us down. That's interesting. It's flipping us over, trying to fight it. Let me turn it. Wait, 6-1. Tipping us over and forcing us down to the water. Oh, now we're going up. Thermal. Oh. We're looking at the smallest slice of live streaming data, and it's doing all the wind vectors, and this company is doing it across the whole globe. It's turning the plane right back around. It's throwing us down. Oh, up. Now we're up again. Now it's throwing us up. Here we go down again. See if I can get some height. We haven't checked in on the news in a while. Yeah, they're doing. The news go.
Students suffer when classroom resources are
and then a tornado reported in the area of mile marker 106 on I-95, which likely is from this mile marker 110 incident right here. Vehicles apparently went in the wrong direction to get away from the tornado.
Oh no.
And
So that is how scary it was out there on the interstate this afternoon.
I do want to note in that picture you saw of the semi-truck, no injuries reported there, so that is good news. But again, Okeechobee County reporting they did have to transport 2 people to the hospital. Just be very aware this is a very ongoing situation. Get to your safe rooms if you can.
And Okeechobee is where we heard from Kirk Warren, who was trying to get to his concrete shed when this tornado was headed to their area. This is video that Kirk Warren sent in to us. He was trying to get to their concrete shed with his son. They couldn't make it there in time, so they hunkered down between 2 buildings on their property. And he said simply, "My son was screaming," and we can only imagine how fearful that was for them. Rachel Perry is interviewing them at their church. We hope to have her story shortly.
So we're getting word of a new tornado warning issued for Palm Beach County. I've got Glenn and Brooke here, both on the radar as we track this new tornado warning that is just being issued for Palm Beach County. This one's in effect, guys, until 3:45. Glenn?
It's a really long extension of the tornado warning. We're zooming out just a little bit here, and Brooke is doing that with me. We're waiting for this to update, Brooke. I don't see it on here just yet. It hasn't quite hit just yet. Sometimes we do get the information just a bit faster. Let's put this on no lapse.
So just to recap, there's been
There we
over
go.
60 tornado warnings since midnight.
How many?
Over 60 tornado warnings since midnight in our area.
So this tornado warning is for this area right here around Pahokee and Belle Glade. It has not popped up just yet, but let's go ahead. Brooke, if you want to go ahead, I'll give you control of the radar for a moment so we're not going back and forth. But I do want to see if we could get velocity on right around Belle Glade and into Pahokee here. Okay.
So what Rent-A-Cow is saying in the chat room is that maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour, 215 knots, present movement northeast or 35 degrees at 16 miles per hour, kilometers per hour minimum. Central pressure. You're all about the weather. That stuff does not calculate fast in my head.
Miami Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray 320 is type Airbus A20 and 89er miles southwest of Sarasota, 5,000 feet. Request flight following.
By the way, it's tossing that Airbus around.
Squawk 1213 Airbus 320.
Overspeed.
I'm overspeeding. Yeah, that'll do it.
Roger Airbus 320.
Come on down. Come down. Come on. There you go. You've got a weatherman who always goes deep into the technicals of weather during the segment. So I basically taken and passed the final for Meteorology 102 by now. It sure seems like it for sure. You're loading up the sim. You'll try to file into formation with you. me, then I'll check on your status in a moment. All right. Brent's Cow is going to install an A320 update and then is going to jump on in. There's a rainbow down there. There's a double rainbow. You gotta look really hard. Now I can't see the second one. There it is. Man, this is hell. Stewardess, I'm gonna need a few more drinks. And one for me in the other seat over there. Hey, whiskey boy. Ah, perfect name for what I'm just talking about. I can't wait to get better interior camera controls. I like these views, but I want to turn my head so badly and adjust where I'm looking. Roger that, Captain. One moment. Invite sent. Coming in at 5,000 feet. Pardon me. Should be able to copy. I should be able to. Oh, I wish you could highlight this text and copy, because I could copy and paste your coordinates right there, and in here, one of these. Was that it? Oh no, no, not in here. I guess that's too bad. I'm dumb. I thought you could just drop the coordinates there. You can do it from the main menu. Be nice if we could do it from in here, and I'm sure there's probably a way. I am at 19.9, 20,000 feet. On a heading of 193. We're trying to get there. And 320 knots. I'm gonna slow down. $250. I swear I just heard some passenger noise. Maybe I've just never listened before. But I heard a baby. I did hear a baby. There's Rent-A-Cow. There's Rent-A-Cow off our starboard wing. I'm going to turn to 275 for west to intercept. That is my vector. That is my vector, Victor. Oh, yeah. Takis. You're saying you went to the store and for the very first time they had the Takis snack treat. And yeah, I guess they've been around here a while. I don't recall when they came into being. Rent-A-Cow is at 19,181 feet. And now I'm still turning. So let me head north a little bit here. Try that. But you bought the extra hot Takis. Man, I was talking earlier about that show Hot Takes, something like that. And these celebrities are gonna pass each other. Trying to turn around. All right, let me hold this then. I am course heading 330 at 250 knots. And let me reset the altimeter here. Yeah, I've got 2992. $20,000 feet. What's up? Oh, anyway, I was talking about that show, like Hot Takes, where the celebrities interview while they're eating chicken wings with hot sauces that get hotter, progressively more hot on the Scoville chart. And I was saying earlier how I got my hands on a freshly roasted Pueblo Hatch chili in this last week. And so I took a big bite and it got me. Wasn't expecting it to be that hot. And oh, we're icing. See that? It's minimum, but it's happening. Minimal. Ads. To slow down to 200 knots. Can I pull up traffic? It's terrain. Learn how to use the displays in here better. Rent-A-Cows in an FA18. That's what it displays you as. So I ate this Hatch chili, and it bit me. I was reaching for the milk and saying, "Woo, that one got me." And my wife was pointing out that I was kind of making fun of some of the celebrities on that show. And then I just regretted it, you know, just for even slightly, you know, not mean at all, or just a little bit. And then I felt really bad for thinking that anything like that or saying anything like that, because the pain they must actually endure and however long it lasts, just the thought of that, man, horrible. So going back to your Taki experiments, you got the really hot ones. And if you've never seen that show, Hot Takes, where celebrities get interviewed while they're eating progressively hotter hot sauces, you have to check out a video or two. Find a celebrity, some really hot actress, and watch them just suffer. It's horrible. But now, I mean, Conan O'Brien, he's this one of these late night talk show hosts here. Here comes Rent-A-Cow. Maybe I better speed up. He's in a jet now. So doing 200 for him can be detrimental. So let me at least get back to 250. Or 300. I don't want you stalling out at all. There, I'm back to 300 exactly. 300 knots, Captain. Still remaining course heading 330, 20,000 feet. Overtake. I like spicy food. I don't like super hot, though. But I love spicy food. And I don't mind mild hot sauces. I don't mind a little bit of burn for just a little while. But something that you can't just, you know, mostly kill with a glass of milk or something. Piece of bread, tortilla, whatever. Something. Pretty light up ahead. I'm going to turn around or make a course heading adjustment here. Let's see if I can spot you again. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn around. So I'm at 330. So I'm just gonna basically do back to 180. Heading 180. Oh. There's Rent-A-Cow. We have got an escort, folks. Rent-A-Cow also live streams, so one of these times, my daughter told me I should rate him, and at first I thought it sounded like something horrible, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do something like that. She's asked me if I rated, and I said, I don't do that. Why not? Because, that's mean. No, rating is, and I think somewhere it did start is you would go over to somebody's site. I honestly do. That's where I think rating came from, as I remember. If you were rating somebody, you go into their stream or their whatever and just, tear them apart. So somehow now the word rating is a good thing, and I'm supposed to try to do that. My daughter says that helps in building your community. Cool. All right, so I know that Rent-A-Cow, that's why I'm bringing it up. I know that Rent-A-Cow streams, and I know that occasionally Henning does, or may, and that when I'm done live streaming, if one of you guys is live streaming or work out our schedules, that's nice. Where was I at? Oh, rating. Yeah. I should get your schedules, or we should, you know me, man. I'm all over the place. Schedule, but I try. I'm trying. When we get to, we get closer to 2024. But if you ever choose to want to be streaming, when I'm wrapping it up, I'm more than happy to start rating and whoever's watching, try to build a community and get them over to your stream. All right, de-icing. It's not much. It's not much at all, but might as well get up into here and turn on our de-icing. If I can remember. This is a smoking flight, so don't worry about that. You're going to enjoy the ride more if you have your seatbelts off, so I'm going to leave both of these off. Here we go. Anti-icing on. Who knows, right? Exactly. Exactly. Pretty soon, you're going to have to start making instructionals. You don't have to. But, you know, you're doing it for real. Your opinion matters more than mine. Your instructionals mean more or matter more. Bush Pounder. Some of these names. Earlier, Casual Mexican was flying around. That was an interesting name. There's Rent-A-Cow. Big maggot? Ew. The Lundberger. GD Rift King. Bush Pounder. Gamma Knife. That's my kind of guy. Gamma Knife. I hear a jet. I heard a jet. Magic B. Aha, I knew I heard it. All right. I think I'm going to turn back towards where everybody's at. Let me look around. Yeah, there's more people that way. All right, so let's turn towards Snow Ride out there and Bush Pounder. Are on 180, so let's turn west. Seven five. Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? Because when I've flown, Henning's pointing out that I can see Rent-A-Cow as being in a jet. But whenever Henning is flying in a jet, I see him as an airliner or something. I don't know. So if you're just tuning in, what you're looking at is live weather simulations provided by METEOBLUE for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And this is who METEOBLUE is. And so, that is what you're seeing all around us. You know what? Let's try to get higher. And I don't know a ceiling on the A320 at all. But I don't think we'll die. It tops out at 49. So that's where we're headed. That might be much. Okay, we're at 20,000 feet going up to 49,000 feet. 2,200 foot vertical speed, 300 knots. And there's Runtscow again. $25,000 feet. All right, we're seeing some definition. In the banding. Yep. All right, I'm going to start turning here in a moment. Let's try to expedite our climb a little bit more. Where are we at? Over 30. But let me turn north. Turning to 360. for 49,000. Looks like little troops in formation. It's an invading army of clouds. Go away, you puffy monsters. Back. Back, I say. Like a conglomeration of air dust bunnies all pissed off. You do see that giant rise in that these pillars. Wow, you can make out that outer band out there now. Well, kinda, either that or it's my eyes. But it looks like we're seeing a ring. Oh, we're so high, we've got contrails. Wow. The rainbows down there. Where does Thor come from? Valhalla? Asgard? So lots of people coming down from Asgard today. Or going. Oh, I haven't tuned into the news for a bit.
You could skip this ad, but don't skip the part that can help you.
I have to skip the ad. There's a live one.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest Hurricane Milton live stream. I think this is our 6th different live update now on this channel. We're going to be talking all about Hurricane Milton, exactly what's happening right now, what's to come tomorrow across the state of Florida, in addition to what impacts you can expect. We'll go through the entire forecast for you and give you an idea of what kind of impacts we're essentially expecting in Florida. And again, we've been over this a lot, but I think things just continue to change, and also the potential for this to make landfall maybe just south of Tampa is beginning to increase. So we're going to kind of talk about what that means, what the best case scenario is, and what the worst case scenario is for the state of Florida, and perhaps even for your particular region. Before we go too far into today's stream, I do want to mention to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are going to be live tomorrow for live landfall coverage, so make sure you're subscribed down below and click the bell icon so you're notified if and when we do go live tomorrow. We'll probably at least be live once tomorrow, maybe even twice.
I tuned into that channel.
also for landfall coverage on Hurricane Milton. Also, today's stream is brought to you by both Radar Omega and as well as ESP Storm Shelters, and we'll be talking about both of those throughout the live stream today. So
I'm gonna make a core setting change here.
all right, let's go ahead and get right into what Hurricane Milton looks like right now. And before we do that, I just want to point out we have 3 different live cameras on the bottom of your screen. Only going to show these intermittently, but you'll notice bottom left of your screen, that is evacuations that are happening currently on I-75 eastbound, just east of Naples. Bottom of your screen is the same thing as well. Evacuations, again, happening just off to the east of Naples. All that is eastbound traffic. It is substantial, obviously, evacuations underway still. Tons of traffic on I-75 eastbound. If you plan on evacuating, now is the time to do so. It is getting relatively late. Obviously, we're very close to landfall, so make sure you are evacuating if that was your plan to do so. All right, let's get into Hurricane Milton. So we just got an update from the National Hurricane Center. Just came in. Their 8 p.m. advisory has just come in as we've gone live. And the latest advisory still has this as a major Category 5 hurricane with maximum sustained winds at 165 miles per hour.
Jeez.
Pressure has dropped down to 902 millibars. However, I do think the intensity of this hurricane is actually beginning to weaken a little bit.
I don't understand what a millibar is.
Hurricane Milton, if we pull,
What does that mean in aviation?
see the latest measurements,
Because I'm a simulator
actually increasing.
guy, and
That the intensity of this hurricane
Okay.
is essentially decreasing in nature. Now, it's not a major decrease, but 6 millibars, that's quite a difference. So I do think we are.
Well, that's good then.
Weaken a little bit.
Yes, we can die, you think.
Happening with this Hurricane Hunter aircraft in the next about 10 to 15 minutes. So whatever it shows us in a few minutes, we'll, obviously let you know. But overall, again, the pressure is obviously increasing here. That does mean that there's a possibility there's basically a possibility of 2 things. One is that we could have another eye wall replacement cycle happening like last night, or 2, it's just weakening in nature. So not entirely sure yet which of the 2 that is currently doing, but I do think there might be another eye wall replacement cycle happening inside of Hurricane Milton, which again would be the second one that we've had in the last like 30 hours. So I do think that, again, that this is going to be something that we'll have to watch for in terms of, its intensity over the next 12 to 24 hours. I think it'll make a difference tomorrow in terms of landfall in Florida. This is also moving to the east-northeast at about 10 miles per hour. It is beginning to speed up. It will be moving over the state of Florida tomorrow evening, and as well as into the overnight hours at about 12 to 14 miles per hour. So it'll be moving pretty quickly. I've had a lot
Wow, somebody said 1 p.m. today. So
have been asking me, what is this blob of convection that
it must have slowed down dramatically.
Is this another hurricane forming? No,
It's already 2:21 here in the Midwest.
Showers and thunderstorms. Actually, several of these right now just off the coast of Florida are actually producing a few fishnados or water spouts, and that's basically just tornadoes that are offshore. We actually have several supercells.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we actually have a big one right now. This is potentially a larger water spout, very far away from land, but back over here northwest of Key West. This is a taste, I think, of what we'll be seeing tomorrow in central and southern Florida for the tornado threat. I do think we're going to have a few tornadoes at the bare minimum. Wouldn't even be surprised with a small-scale tornado outbreak, but several different storms offshore right now, all of which are rotating. And any of those could be producing water spouts. So if you know any fish in this area, definitely let them know. Give them a call or text. And again, that's a pretty interesting little situation happening, though, just off the coast there of Florida. But
Pause that for a moment.
As I mentioned before, again, this is...
Oh, we're overspeeding. So, earlier I was saying these pillars, and whether it's simulating the air rise in these columns, or kind of what he's talking about, where it's creating these mini vortexes inside of itself, and they're doing the whole water spout thing. Oh, I turned my... We're overspeeding, but my speed is low. Put that back up and make sure we're in auto throttle, which we are. Make sure the auto throttle is still on, which it is. But we're still overspeeding. It's like a flap is down or something, but flaps are up. Well, I'm trying to figure this out.
Just a lot of convection. This will be problematic tomorrow because what this is going to end up doing is moving into central Florida during the afternoon and evening, and that is going to dump a ton of rain across central and even parts of northern Florida. So if you're in Orlando, Tampa, Daytona Beach, and just north of I-4, this blob of convection is actually important because it's going to dump an additional few inches of rainfall tomorrow on top of what the actual hurricane will also be dumping. So that is something that we need to keep in mind here in the state of Florida. All right, here's a 6-hour loop, or sorry, 4-hour loop on Hurricane Milton. So again, this is infrared imagery. Again, you'll notice that it's had a very definitive eye this entire time. We may or may not have eye wall replacement happening now. There's a possibility that that is happening, but again, notice
I don't even know what that means.
All of it's been staying offshore today. We've only had one water spout observed.
An eyeball replacement?
Marco Island, Florida. So all that storm activity.
I have no idea what that means. An eye wall replacement.
Onshore tomorrow, though. Here's also another close view on infrared imagery here of Hurricane Milton. And notice the eye, it's not looking, I mean, it looks pretty much the same as like a few hours ago, but maybe on the last couple of scans here, not nearly as organized. Again, we'll kind of keep a close eye on that, but nonetheless, really symmetrical, very symmetrical eye and eye wall, and it's been impressive this entire time. And
his optometrist would be so proud.
Infrared imagery is the coldness of cloud tops, and so when you see this white and purple and pink color, that's indicating very cold cloud tops aloft. And essentially what that means is that this is a very intense hurricane in nature. So when you have it going around the entire hurricane, that's when you know this is pretty much a textbook looking category 5 hurricane. Now, for what it's worth, I know a lot of people are wondering, is this breaking records? Well, yes, it is. It already has broken a record. Last night we had this hurricane at 897 millibars, which is the second strongest hurricane on record in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, that's almost beating out Rita back in 2005. Rita was a category 5 hurricane as well back in 2005 at 895 millibars of pressure. So this is officially the second strongest hurricane on record in the Gulf of Mexico, and on top of that, it's also the 5th strongest hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean on record when it comes to pressure. Some people are asking, will it get lower than this tonight? I don't think so, because again, the trends that the aircraft recon are currently picking up on do indicate that we are starting to see a weakening trend, more likely than not, because
I always lament the fact that we can't, on live streams, we're still overspeeding. On live streams, play music, right? And it just links up with whatever music video you play. And because I really want to hear Billy Joel's Pressure right now. We should not be overspeeding. Maybe it's just a byproduct of being up this high in the wind. I don't know. Because we're under red. And we should be able to do this speed with no problem whatsoever. And the flaps are up. Yeah, bring us back down just a tiny bit, like 40,000 feet. That in the zeros. Well, for a moment, we were up above it. I mean, we got on top of it. No. That's why. Because I was in mock. I wish this thing did thousands and worked the way the other knobs did. I mean, just faster. Hundreds. Yeah, up so high, it's all misty. Can't get a good look into it till we get back down into it. So we will start descending again. Back down to 20. All right, we're on our way down. And let's make a turn to 120, 30. Another good reason to not be active. Talking to your girlfriend. Definitely more important than this. Definitely. Feels like I'm graphic lagging. A lot for it to handle. Tuning into that fellow again.
Actually the second strongest hurricane on record in the Gulf of Mexico, and on top of that, it's also the 5th strongest hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean on record when it comes to pressure. Some people are asking, will it get lower than this tonight? I don't think so, because again, the trends that the aircraft recon are currently picking up on do indicate that we are starting to see a weakening trend, more likely than eyewall replacement, but if not, it is just a natural weakening trend with a hurricane. So I don't think it'll hit that tonight, but it was actually pretty close. This hurricane, as of about an hour ago, was down to 902 millibars of pressure, so it was within 5 of hitting that record again. Another fun fact, I don't know if it's really fun, but another fact for you is that this hurricane is the only one that we've ever had that has actually hit 905 millibars or lower 2 separate times. We had 3 hurricanes in history hit 910 millibars or lower 2 separate times. One of them was Hurricane Allen, for reference, which is actually on this list back in 1980. So very rare situation, obviously. And yeah, and another, I mean, there's a lot of facts. Here's another one for you. Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Michael. You might remember Hurricane Michael back a few years ago. That was a Category 5 hurricane. They retired that hurricane's name. This hurricane will probably end up being retired after what we see tomorrow and obviously what we've seen so far. But Hurricane Michael made landfall on October 10th, and this hurricane is also expected to make landfall either tomorrow night, very late, or early on October 10th, sometime around like 1 a.m. So that would be kind of crazy if 2 named storms get retired. You know, and again, Milton's the name following that, by the way. Hurricane Milton replaced Hurricane Michael because Michael got retired, just kind of for, you know, fun fact stuff. But yeah, very interesting stuff nonetheless. All right, so I thought that was kind of some interesting tidbits to what's been happening, but very coincidental that that's happening. You know, we've had a retired hurricane, and now this name replaced the retired hurricane, and this one's probably going to get retired, and they're making landfall basically on the same day, which is crazy. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the hurricane models. We'll go into the impacts here in a second. I do want to jump into the HAFSB model, and I'm also going to show you 2 other hurricane models, I think. But we'll begin with the HAFSB model run, which has been pretty accurate thus far throughout the cycle of this hurricane. So for the rest of tonight, this is expected to remain a pretty consolidated hurricane. For what it's worth here, this particular area of tropical storm force winds is about 200 miles wide. All right, so just kind of pointing that out because I'm going to tell you something that's going to probably blow your mind here in a second. But this particular tropical storm force wind field, which is a little bit larger than the circle, it's like this wide, it's about 200 miles wide. Okay.
Wow.
Now, once we go later into tomorrow, you're going to see this. Watch the wind. Look at all the green and purple and stuff. It's going to really spread out. Reason why is because the vertical wind shear is going to increase, which will help to weaken this hurricane a little bit before landfall. But we are also going to see this start an extratropical transition, which actually means that this wind field is going to broaden out, and it's going to go from being 200 miles wide tonight to 530 miles wide tomorrow across the state of Florida. That is almost triple the size in the span of 24 hours. So the hurricane force wind field is going to still remain, the hurricane force wind field in particular, it's not going to be nearly as large. It's going to be consolidated into a smaller area, but will still be impacting areas like Tampa and Sarasota. But tropical storm force winds will be growing in size by almost triple the size. So it's a kind of a crazy little tidbit, but I don't know what Helene was for the wind field, but I'm pretty sure it was around like 600-ish miles, so we're not actually far from the wind field that Helene had when it came to tropical storm force wind gusts. But nonetheless, really crazy stuff there. Notice the hurricane force wind field, though, it actually remains relatively large and intact even into Wednesday afternoon, and then by the time we get closer to landfall, notice another thing, most of the highest winds will be on the west side of this hurricane, and then on the east side of the hurricane, we are still going to have hurricane force winds. It's just more consolidated to a smaller area, and that's really going to start to penetrate into areas like Sarasota, back over near Tampa Bay, as we go into the late afternoon and as well as into the early evening. Some people are also asking, when can we expect the hurricane force winds to start to ramp up? I think that overall about 4 o'clock or so, we're going to start to see those hurricane force winds really ramp up in parts of western Florida. So Tampa Bay, back over near Cape Coral, and then also back up closer to the Big Bend like Cedar Key. Those hurricane force wind gusts will start to pick up around 4. By 8 o'clock, we're going to start to see the strongest wind gusts really start to pick up back over here in central Florida near Orlando, and then back just to the southeast of Cape Coral, back over near Naples, Florida. And then anything after that will be closer to about midnight or so for the east coast of Florida. So that's the timing that we are currently looking at for the greatest wind gusts to essentially really starting to ramp up. This is when it makes landfall sometime around tomorrow evening, probably going to be close to midnight tomorrow when this makes landfall. Again, it'll be making landfall as a Category 3 or a low-end Category 4 hurricane, which means that this is still going to be causing major impacts. The category at this point doesn't really matter upon landfall. What you need to know is that this is going to be a major and perhaps even catastrophic hurricane for much of the western side here of Florida, especially for the coast.
That sucks.
So again,
it sucks to hear.
Caught up in the intensity. Will this be a Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4? It doesn't matter. This is still going to be an intense hurricane no matter what, and it's going to cause very similar impacts no matter what the wind speed is. The storm surge, the flooding, and also the winds obviously are going to all be playing a factor here in terms of the damage that's going to be dealt here across Florida. As we go into the overnight hours into Thursday morning, this will still be a Category 2 hurricane all the way through central Florida, as this is going to be interacting with a trough to the north. It's going to be kind of an extra tropical system, and again, what that essentially means is that the intensity of this is not going to drop very fast. So this will actually be staying a Category 2 hurricane probably through central Florida, and then by the time it exits the east coast of Florida by Thursday morning, this will still be more than likely a Category 1 hurricane. And then eventually, as we go into Thursday afternoon, we're not done there. We're actually going to be dealing with the wind coming from the northeast, and essentially what that's going to do is push water into areas like Daytona Beach, and then back through Cape Canaveral, and that's going to increase the storm surge on the east coast of Florida, and that'll also be happening back up in areas like South Carolina and Georgia. Good thing is the storm surge is not expected to be catastrophic for many, or at least most areas, like it will be for the west coast, but it will still be enough for there to be some problems, especially back over north of Cape Canaveral and then south of Jacksonville. That's where I think the worst of that will be. All right, we've talked a lot about this, but these are some of the hurricane models in terms of where the landfall is expected. I'm going to show you a much more zoomed in look here in a few minutes. This is just one view, but this view in particular shows you where a lot of the computer models are currently indicating landfall. And notice how it's just to the south of Tampa. That is where we're currently looking at for a high likelihood of landfall. Almost every model today has shifted south. A lot of models were north or in Tampa yesterday. Almost every model, though, today has shifted south, and most models have this making landfall in or south of Tampa Bay. What does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about it in a second, but I want to point out that wherever it makes landfall, it doesn't matter really. It's still going to be causing major impacts, and if you are in an evacuation zone, you need to be evacuating. You should not be staying where you're at. It's just not going to be safe, especially with the storm surge that is forecasted for tomorrow. All right, let me recenter this so I can kind of show you the entire...
Brought this up earlier on CNN or whatever news program I'd switch to. They used computer graphics in the most impactful of ways, and they've got a gentleman standing on the stage with the backdrop of, I don't know, downtown Tampa or whatever. And they use CGI to show you the storm surge levels at 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet, and 15 feet. And that's just jacked up and frightening. So we're descending back down into it. So weird how it's just so hazy up here, and so Wrath of Hades below us. What we were experiencing earlier. And then he was talking about the speeds are going to ramp up still. Another turn. Really? You're having a hurricane over there too? Where some parts of Germany might get hit with... Crazy. ...250 centimeters high water. $18,000 feet. And yeah, we've lost definition. All right, let's go down more. We started at 5. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, all of this. Cotton candy. 1,500. In Germany, there's never been a hurricane. It's kind of wondering. The one in Florida. Yeah, the one we're flying in right now. But my geography ain't so great, even though I flew around the area. I'm trying to think of which parts were next to the ocean. End up back in here. Somebody's in a Bell helicopter, the Bell 407. That's crazy. Where are we at? We're back down to 5,000 feet and we can't see a thing. So it like came together. I mean, when we were flying around earlier, you know, there was large areas that you could still see through. So it's like it all came in, and then it is like it's expanding and misting, or I don't know. It's just very different how it's changed. And then with the light fitting, but I could always change the light. But I think that's kind of the best we're going to get. And I've been at this a while, so it's probably time for me to stop. As opposed to yesterday, I was like, well, the first 30 minutes I had to throw away, and you know, like a 9-minute live stream. Like, hey, check this out. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay. So, thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm sure if I stick around another 5 minutes, it'll change again. But that gives you a look inside and around and up and down inside simulated Hurricane Milton, provided by METEOBLUE. Do I need to update, or I've zoomed in too hard? So it is this company here that provides worldwide weather maps. They're the ones providing all of our weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're the ones feeding us all their data. And that's pretty darn impressive. And I hope, I just keep my fingers crossed, and I hope that this thing will choke itself and kill itself unexpectedly in some sort of miracle. And that nobody has to suffer for this, and I hope that everybody's had enough warning that everybody rides this one out like a pro, and we don't hear about tragedy other than silly little mistakes like some accidents, people driving the wrong way trying to get out of the area earlier. So let's keep our fingers crossed, keep our thoughts on having this thing choke itself. And let's go one more time back out to where we started. And that's the way it is sent and presented to us in the main menu. The world map. And I have the filters on to show the way the wind is. So it pretty much matches. Again, it's METEOBLUE feeding it. So the colors are going to match what they're displaying. That's so weird how it is all this intensity out here, but then as you zoom in, just what a churning hunk of intensity it is when you get here. Turn that off. I was fortunate enough to be an early alpha tester for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I was so in awe of the world map when I first started seeing it. I'd use this as my, pardon me, kind of my desktop. I just leave it. I have to change it every now and then to like prevent burn-in. But it's so nice that I just leave it up and running. And again, that is the reason why so many of us are really, really, really fanboy about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not that there aren't other ones out there. I've never said anything bad. I've used a lot of the other flight simulators out there, like X-Plane, and I loved them. The folks over there with Laminar or whatever they're called, the gentleman that runs, the genius behind X-Plane, nothing but props. And I'm sure if I got into and checked out the latest X-Plane, I would be just as blown away. But these guys were the first, the ones to deliver the automated citizen stars, this live weather. In 2024, there's going to be animal migration. That's crazy. And then the things that everybody else are adding to it, whether they've added to it, the live air traffic. They're going to have live boats, live shipping. Somebody talked about live trains. I mean, eventually, everybody's trying to create the perfect sim. With EA kind of looks like they might kill the Sims after killing off all the other great Maxis products. I hope, like with Microsoft Flight Simulator, if there's any lesson in that certain things that you think are dead and were proclaimed dead, they can come back. So Microsoft told us they would never make another flight simulator. And we cried and we cried and we cried and we cried. But they brought it back. And so we were told they've killed SimCity and they've killed all these great Maxis titles. Streets of SimCity, Simcopter. They killed them. They're dead. Well, I don't think anything's dead. And I still, the little kid in me that started with those games still has his fingers crossed. Because at the rate they're going to kill the Sims. And you've got everybody else able to create wonders with these Unreal engines and the latest Unreal Engine, and everybody's popping out simulators. And we kind of going back to Microsoft. They're well on their way to creating one of the greatest simulators ever, just the Earth simulator. And eventually, when we're creating ground mission level stuff, in some way, they are on their way to creating their own ultimate sim MMO, because it's now moving beyond flight simulation. This is just now one aspect, the greatest flight simulation, I think. That's debatable, but we're always talking about adding in the fishing, bring back Microsoft Fishing, whatever it was called, bring back Microsoft Golf, start tying those into this. So share cockpit, train with each other, fly around, have a lot of fun, and then take it out to the links, take it out to the Do 9. That would be fantastic. Let me show off the fish I caught. Living amazing times. All right. Well, again, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I don't normally just concentrate on hurricanes. I haven't been normally concentrating on anything in particular, but it's usually just touring around. I have picked up NEOFLY again. I'm kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for 2024, because I'm going to end up having to uninstall and reinstall and do all kinds of stuff when 2024 comes out. So, by the way, I'm still trying to be doing something fun for the next 40 some odd days. But you can imagine when 2024 launches, it's going to be nonstop. For a while, anyway. So, do subscribe. Again, if you are a live streamer and you've tuned in and you're a Flight Simulator live streamer, then please make yourself known, like, and subscribe for sure. Because if you were watching earlier, you may have heard me talking about the rating thing. Now, I thought rating was a bad thing, and my daughter, she's a live streamer. She's told me, no, rating is a good thing. Okay. How? Well, at the end of your show, you want to take whatever viewers you have over to somebody else who's live streaming. And you want to raid you're rating their site, but you're bringing all your people to them. Rating seems the wrong word, and I'm convinced of that, but that's what all the kids are saying they're calling it rating. So, in that spirit, is anybody currently streaming? And if not, if you make yourself known in my chat room. If not, I'm going to go out there to YouTube, and I'm going to attempt to find somebody who's live. So who comes up first? MSFS Live, I Fly Boeing 737 MAX 8 Early Beta Access Air Canada. CST Gaming, 13 people are watching.
I'm Colin Larson, and
You are. You have been a Republican that long, huh, Carlton? Okay, so let me open up this and try to find Carlton's page here. All right. So he doesn't know me. I don't know him. I'm going to subscribe.
The easy way to make your camera views, guys. Could I show my NVIDIA settings? I'm going to show it real quick. I need you to take a picture of it because I can't just stay on it, all right? So I'm gonna move my cam here, boom. And
all right, so if you want another stream to go to, I'm gonna subscribe.
It's not working. The filters, it's Alt F3, right?
I don't know, you're asking the wrong guy. From the main screen, you come down here and you click filters.
It's not coming up. It's not coming up, guy. Sorry, dude.
Sometimes you got to go back out to the...
For some reason, I need to figure that out.
You just got to go back and forth a couple of times. Oh, but he's trying to open filters in here.
Well, thank you, man. I really do appreciate you, man. Oh, I got the emojis on. Let me turn the emojis off. A plus Z and then do filters. No, that's not. I have a custom key set up for it, guys. They're not coming up, dude. I'm not gonna mess with it. Yeah, that doesn't work. Keenis, thank you for the sub, man. Welcome to the family. Good to have you, man. Good to have you, my friend. All right, we are down here with the good old boarding. So we're gonna go to EpuGen, Bet Bus. Everything is good to go there. Let's go to our electronic flight bag.
Ooh, he's got a fancy rig. That's fancy.
Menu and ground support. Let's get rid of the ground cart. We don't need power anymore. That's good there. Cool. I don't think we need a performance page anymore. We already put all our numbers in there. I'm gonna get rid of that. Looks like turbo is pushing, so we'll wait for M to get done. We're gonna be pushing with the nose to the left.
Cool. Well, if you're looking for somebody to sub and this looks interesting, jump on over. Try to rate his YouTube. All one of you.
Bring over like one viewer, maybe cheers and best. Kidness, thank you so much, man. Every viewer counts, my dude. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate you.
That's cool. Cool, it worked. That's the way it was supposed to work.
Alt Z. I'll try Alt Z, dude. If it doesn't work,
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Where's that at? Game filters? Alt F3. See, it's not working for me for some reason. All right, there you go. Take a screenshot. Well, hold on. Freak. Now I can't. How do you get out of this thing now? Jesus. Resume. Let me adjust my view real quick because I have a stretched screen so you can't see the far left. So Alt F3 is not working. Alt Z bring this up. That's good. Go to game filters. All right, there you go. So, all right, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna open up one at a time, and just pause the screen and take a screenshot after I'm done. Okay, so this right here is my brightness and contrast. All right. This is color. And this.
Yeah, my Discord's not currently up and running.
All right. So rewatch the stream and just pause it to get all the numbers and stuff, man. Hope that helped. And let me go ahead and reset my camera here. Boom.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll get my Discord set up here. Let me go ahead and pause this gentleman's live stream.
Camera toolbar icon, go.
Okay. So again, thank you for tuning in. I'll try to get my Discord up and running as soon as possible in the next day or two. And thank you again for tuning in. And I will try to see you tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. Stupid. I'll try to see you tomorrow. I'm going to head off to make a spaghetti and get some things done around here. And do a little, try to not give up on Star Citizen tonight. I just kind of gave it up last night. That game is driving my head in, is caving my head in. Ta-ta.